2020. It's quite a year, huh? Certainly not like any I've seen. Now, in a normal year, we would have spent the last week out in the dust. We would have been stumbling into really cool camps. We would have been out admiring amazing art. We would have been having those unplanned encounters with people we never met before that you can only have at Black Rock City. Instead, we are all stuck in our shift pods, not allowed to leave. And even a virtual burn doesn't really give us what we're looking for. Now, in the last couple of months, I've had a lot of conversations online with people who insisted that they were going to go to the Black Rock Desert anyway this week. A month or two ago, the org put out a blog post asking that people not do that to protect the local populations from the spread of COVID. The local Paiute tribe, and make no mistake, although we burn on federal land, that land was taken from the Paiutes. The local Paiute tribe has closed the roads to their reservation because they don't want outsiders there, bringing disease in. Voices out of Gerlach and the surrounding communities have pointed out that their populations are elderly and vulnerable, and they're hours from advanced medical care, and yet the argument I hear on the other side always boils down to the same thing. It's public land, and I have the right to be there. I have the right. That's a statement I've been hearing an awful lot lately. And I'm not talking about the rights that Black Lives Matter is fighting for. The right not to be shot by a policeman. I'm not talking about LGBTQ rights to be treated equally. No, I'm talking about the entitlement that says that I have the right to take any action I want, regardless of the impact on anyone else. Well, there's a problem with that argument. And the problem is that actions have consequences, and those consequences have to be considered. More than that, all rights, all of them, have limitations. There are no absolute rights. All the cases, most of the cases in the Supreme Court are balancing one right against another and seeing where the limitations are. All rights come with responsibility. You can't have one without the other. The right to drive on the public road comes with the responsibility to follow the traffic laws. The right to vote comes with the responsibility to educate yourself and be an informed voter. I have the right is never the end of the conversation. It is the beginning of the conversation. You have to go beyond that. You can't stop at, do I have the legal right? You have to also ask, do I have the moral right to do a thing? More than half of the population of this country lives where I would have the right to fire them for being transsexual or being gay. But do I have the moral right to treat other humans that way? As a divorced father, for 14 years, while my children were under 18, I had the legal right to completely ignore them except for every other weekend when they were at my house. But do I have the moral right to ignore the responsibilities of fatherhood that extend beyond one ejaculation? For reasons that I don't even want to get into, the great mask debate rages on in the U.S. I have the right. The government can't tell me what I can wear. Well, that's nonsense. The government can tell you to wear a pair of pants when you walk out of the door. They can certainly tell you to wear a mask. But more than that, even if you had the legal right to not wear a mask, do you have the moral right to spread asymptomatic COVID to everyone you meet because you're a little uncomfortable in a mask? We say that we adhere to the 10 principles. The 10 principles call out responsibilities. Look at them. Look at the principle of radical self-expression. It ends with the statement, the giver should respect the rights and liberties of the recipient. That's a responsibility. Leave no traces. The whole thing is a responsibility. And most obviously, the principle of civic responsibility is a responsibility, which includes the words community members who originate events should assume responsibility for public welfare and endeavor to communicate civic responsibilities to participants. We are never free of responsibilities. Now, to be clear, the 10 principles are descriptive, not prescriptive. They are a description of the norms that rose up in the burner community. They're not a set of laws. But in a sense, you can use them to answer the question, is this person a burner? Are they displaying the characteristics that we have found the burner community has? If these folks who are sitting on the playa call themselves burners, what responsibility are they taking for the public welfare of the local community? Do they have the moral right to be there? What would burners do? And by the way, if you spread COVID, that's leaving a trace. We say that we're looking to spread the best of burner community to the Grand Playa, to the default world. For example, people are looking to the Black Rock Rangers for a new model of policing that has first responders who are not armed, who are not looking for a crime, and who are there to be helpful. But DeFalcia isn't interested in modeling a culture that is only interested in a party. They're interested in modeling something that makes life better. As a burner, how are you modeling a culture that's worth emulating? How consistently do you accept the responsibilities that go with your rights? How are you evaluating the moral right alongside the legal right? Along with many canceled activities, we are not in the dust this year. And maybe that gives us more time to think and reflect. Maybe you should use some of that to consider how you can address the civic responsibilities right where you are.